Alright guys, just a few weeks ago, I remember during that PlayStation State of Play, they had a trailer for this game Split Fiction, and to be honest, a lot of us thought the game just looked really cringy. Now, that doesn't mean the game can't be good. It's made by the same people who made It Takes Two, again, a game that previously won Game of the Year at the Game Awards. Take that for what it is. Again, I know the Game Awards is not everything it's cracked up to be, and a lot of times they give the wrong game Game of the Year. Trust me, I understand that. I'm just saying this is a studio that made It Takes Two, a game that was massively successful and beloved by a lot of people. And so now they have this game, It Takes Two, and it seems like it's actually doing pretty well. So if you just look at what people are saying about it, you see from New York Times here, it says a jaw-dropping cooperative game lets writers run wild. With influences from Contra, Metroid, Portal, Mario, Halo, and more, Split Fiction follows two aspiring authors in the sci-fi and fantasy settings of their imaginations. Now, spoiler alert, from what I've seen from a lot of these reviews, it seems like a lot of parts of the game are very cool, especially if you're into co-op games. The main issue being the story is kind of weak. Okay. Now, obviously, the thing that sticks out to a lot of us right off the bat, if you just zoom in right here, two women. Now, to be fair, they're not even like ugly women, masculine women, they're just women, right? Most gamers at this point are going to look at a game that features two strong, independent women and go, I'm out, I don't want to play this. From what I can tell, and this is not an endorsement of this game, I haven't played it, I have no desire to play it, I don't really play like co-op games like this. I mean, I play multiplayer games online, but not like this. I'm probably never going to play this game. But from everything I've read about it, everything I've seen about it, the game doesn't seem like some woke fest feminist slop. It seems like a pretty decent game. I mean, this is made by people who know how to make good games. And it's really funny because we see articles like this talking about Split Fiction's creator slamming microtransactions and looking forward to GTA 6. So, although they spelled it 4, that's very interesting. Guys, fix that shit, come on. Okay, so Joseph Fares is known for being the director behind 2021's Game of the Year, It Takes Two, and for his iconic speech against the Oscars at the Game Awards 2017, where he said, F the Oscars. His personality is completely transparent, always showing a relaxed yet direct character with an expression full of charisma. Now, again, I don't know much about this guy, Joseph Fares, so just take that for what it is. In a recent video on the Fall Damage YouTube channel, the Split Fiction creative responded to YouTube comments on various trailers for his games. He says, I think that those kind of shit talking about microtransactions and how a game should be done... Let me back up. One of the first comments Ferris responded to mentioned no loot boxes, no microtransactions, no BS, words to live by. In response, the director was blunt about how these practices negatively affect the industry, saying, I think those kind of shit affects the design and how a game should be done. Every time you make a design decision taken on your making more money from the game, I think it's a huge problem and it's stopping our industry from a creative perspective. Another of the comments said that Split Fiction, you can read our opinion here, was about another feminism propaganda-soaked game. And again, I think this does a decent job addressing the criticism, and I think he actually says something relatively based in this, so just take that for what it is. Again, I don't know anything about this guy. He says, what the F is this? I guess that is someone overreacting that there's two women. Let me say this, in Brothers, The Tale of Two Sons, there were two guys, in A Way Out, there were two guys, in It Takes Two, there was one guy, one woman, and now there's two girls and everybody's complaining. Come on, I mean, let's face this, they are based on my daughters. I don't care what you have between your legs, that's not interesting to me. Good characters is what's important. I think that's a very based opinion. Now, does that mean the game isn't loaded full of feminism and isn't woke? No, because I haven't played it for myself, and I don't know anything about it beyond what I've seen in trailers and read about it up to this point. But he says the best game of 2025, could be this game, but he's looking forward to GTA. Okay, so that being said, I have looked through a lot of the information about Haze Light Studio, the one that made Split Fiction, and it seems like a pretty standard studio. Yes, they work with EA, so take that for what it is. EA is an excessively woke company, massively into DEI, but the studio itself seems fine. People are also pointing out Split Fiction is the first game for Electronic Arts in 13 years to receive 90 plus points on Metacritic. Pretty shocking. And if you go to Split Fiction on Steam, it seems like it's doing very, very well, overwhelmingly positive, and even the negative reviews, when I filtered to just look at the negative, none of the negative reviews are even that bad. So some complain about the story, some complain about a little bit of optimization, some, glitchy frames or whatnot. So in general, the game is doing very well. And when you refresh the current player numbers, and this is of course the game that just released, it's sitting at almost 46,000 players. Now, why do we even care about player count? because it's a reflection of how well a game is being received, right? If people are enjoying it, the reviews are positive, then the current player numbers are high. Clearly, there's an interest in the game. Now, I want to compare this to Avowed, and before you start yelling about how, oh, it's an RPG versus a co-op couch kind of game, no, I know they're completely separate games, but what we're looking at is interest, is that people just aren't interested in one of these games and they are interested in the other. So a co-op game, like It Takes Two, it's got 46,000 people currently playing it, and Avowed, this massive Obsidian RPG, couldn't crack 20,000 concurrent players at launch. Absolutely pitiful. And the even funnier part about it is we're seeing articles like this coming out earlier today saying, I don't care about being able to kill everybody and steal the mayor's pants in an RPG like Avowed, and I'm tired of pretending it's mandatory. Now, this is from Harvey Randall, if we're going to use the term woke, a very woke person coming out of PC Gamer. I think he's personally admitted to being very gender confused in the past, saying, there comes a time, dear reader, when us writers at PC Gamer are at odds, and I find myself on the other side of a fence shouting nonsense balderdash tomfoolery at my unfortunate colleagues who have it in their heads that Avowed is somehow lesser for its lack of reactivity, or more crucially, the inability to rob shopkeepers after you paid them. Yes, that's called an RPG. In fact, Avowed is a game that has come under constant scrutiny for this simple fact, and to be fair to its detractors, they are correct by technicality. Avowed is not a very reactive game. There's no real stealth system, there's no theft system, there's no bounty system, you can't kill everyone you come across, NPCs don't have daily routines. It's a world trapped in amber that you're invited to wander through but not live in. If you're expecting those things, you'll be disappointed. Despite the fact I've been denied these RPG staples as apparently necessary as bread and water, I've somehow managed to enjoy myself. I've said before, I think despite the negative press, despite Matt Hansen, the art director, coming out and attacking people and trying to pick a fight with Elon Musk, and of course the game director saying, hey, some jank just adds to the game, If you enjoy Avowed, that's fine. I just think it looks like a very mid RPG and I had no interest in playing it. So that being said, he says combat, exploration, environments, and story obviously are a few things that it hones in on, and you know what? It does all those things well. Its story is maybe the weakest of these points, but even then, as a fan of textured, sleepy world building and nuanced fantasy politics, I have been having a grand time. Again, that's fine. But then he goes on to basically be all butthurt in this article, complaining about how people are just not letting go of the fact that you can't hunt animals, you can't do anything, right? The funny thing is, a lot of people are like, what about Game Pass? What about Game Pass numbers? You got to count the Game Pass numbers. Apparently, they came out and said that 6 million people have played this game. 6 million people have played it, right? Okay, so most of those are on Game Pass. And even back in January, you see articles like this from Game Rant talking about how Xbox Game Pass results in up to 80% losses in premium game sales, affecting developer revenue. So you tell me, if you're one of these people, and I'm not saying you have to defend Avowed as a game, whether you enjoy it or not. If you enjoy it, more power to you, have fun, whatever, I don't care. What I'm saying is the people who are adamant about, what about the Game Pass numbers? You're telling me that whatever the deal is for revenue from Game Pass, that Obsidian is okay to lose 80% of their sales by putting this game on Game Pass. I don't buy it. I don't buy it for an instant. And when this game is getting its ass handed to it by a silly co-op game, then I call it silly because I don't know anything about it. It just looks like a game that I probably would never play for, maybe less than $10 when it's on sale. This is just devastating. This is just more signs of exactly what's wrong in AAA gaming. And again, you're still going to see the media trying to make every excuse under the sun for why Avowed is a better game than people are saying it is and why you should give it a chance despite the fact that nobody's even playing it anymore. But I'm going to leave it right there, guys. What do you think about both these games? What do you think about Avowed if you've played it? Are you interested in split fiction? I mean, personally, for me, like I said, it's a game that I don't personally have any use for. It doesn't look like anything that interests me. It could very well just be more feminist bullshit. Or it could just be a decent game that somehow actually has 2 female characters that are done well. But again, until we see more of it, I'm not going to know for sure. In the meantime, leave a comment down below and I will catch you guys on the next one. Alright, and if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching the video. Thank you for being here. I do have 2 channels, Minimal Effort Podcast, as well as my gaming channel. I do have a Twitch and Kick for my gaming channel. We do live streams over there occasionally, maybe once a week. And then if you are in the market for a new PC, make sure to check out Meta PCs. Click the link I have down below, use code TBO at checkout for a special discount. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.